We have some news to share.
We were on the Amazing Race. So
I guess that's it.
Yeah, cut the cameras.
Wow. We've been sitting on this little
We've
secret
been sitting
for
on
like
a secret.
a year, maybe more.
No, season 37 of The Amazing Race,
Yes.
premiering soon.
March 5th on CBS.
On CBS.
Or Paramount Plus at 9:30 p.m. right after Survivor.
We have been hiding this. When we said we were going camping, we weren't.
Bitch, you really think I would go camping?
On our way to our camping trip.
I am Jack.
I am Carson, and we run this podcast, Dweeb Wars, where we talk about crazy stuff, dig into passions and nerdy things.
We're also Dungeons & Dragons streamers, so if you like Dungeons & Dragons,
yeah.
hey.
In this video, we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves, and then we will go into 3 categories of talking about what we just did on the race, and that is the pitch, how we got on the show, how we pitched ourselves, the prep, how we prepped for the race physically, emotionally, and the punch, the thing itself, going on the race, how it was.
We are best friends. We also, as we said, run a D&D show together. We also live in the same
apartment building in different apartments. We've known each other for over a decade. We became best friends when we were just like little teens. We were different.
Gay. Also, we are gay.
Yeah, that's true. But at the time,
gay.
we weren't when we met each other. Like, we've seen each other in so many different aspects of our life. And that's, I think, why we wanted to do this race together.
Look at the arms. It's not giving
muscly.
the most muscular team, but we are giving
muscular brain, maybe.
Right.
Muscular brain.
And spunk.
Yeah, for sure. We've got moxie.
Yes.
We've got moxie. That leads us right into the pitch, right? How did we pitch ourselves as a group? And so let's do 3 pieces of advice that we would give to somebody applying for the race and things that we applied to our own application that we think served us.
We know what like worked, but we also know what didn't because we've applied for the race before, like 7 years ago.
Yeah. Piece of advice number 1, which is like learn how to package yourselves as a duo.
Yes. Like literally we opened our application, the one that got us on the show with
I'm Carson.
I'm Jack.
And we're gay nerds.
Which was like so succinct and such a way to understand and like peer into our lives.
That's what we did. And it was more fun that way too, because we view each other as this duo, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they're my partner, but I'm going on this race. It's like, we're going on this together and we're a team. That's the mindset you have to go in the race with.
This isn't my quest or your quest. Like
it's our quest. Yeah. Frodo and Sam, and we're not interested in figuring out who's Frodo and who's Sam.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I think that it's a perfect segue into number 2, figuring out the why, right? Yeah. Like I think the first time that we applied, we were talking about how we love to travel. You know, we're best friends. We want to go on this race together, right? But really, really dig deep and ask yourself why you want to go on this race.
Yeah.
What are you going to get out on the other side that is really going to be different? How is your relationship going to be different? What can we gain out of this that isn't just like, of course, everyone wants to travel with their best friend.
Yeah, I think the first time it was like more focused on like, I want to do this because I'm blah, blah, blah. Like I was doing it for me, right? And I chose you as my partner because like, you're my friend, you know? But then this time I feel like we came in also with an angle of like, we want to do this for each other.
Yeah.
You know, they say this all the time in casting, which is like, this isn't a travel show necessarily. It's a relationship show.
Yeah.
And so they really want to see like, what are you excited to see the other person do? Or how do you think it will change your relationship?
I think that is the perfect segue into number 3, which is actually, I would phrase this as be crazy and earnest.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have to purposely balance.
Be 100. Keep it like level 100 and keep it 100.
Level 100 and keep it 100. Exactly. Yeah. And in fact, like maybe even with Dweeb Wars, with this podcast, like that's what we do all the time, right? It's like we have these crazy costumes. We do such crazy stuff, but it is so earnest.
Trying to get to the root of like these questions that we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Tap into that. And also, they can always pull you back if you're like, you know, going too wild, right? But if you have these moments of earnestness, right, attach that to your why. Why are we doing this for each other? That will naturally, these earnest moments will come out. I think like a big thing for our application this time was like in the 7 years that between us applying, I had a tragedy in my family and I lost my mom, and that was like such a beautiful way to, it was a beautiful thing that we could talk about and that I wanted to explore on the race, right? And, and you
had definitely changed because of that tragedy. I mean, and I saw that firsthand. And I think I wanted to also, I was excited by the idea of like challenging yourself to regain some of your like bravery and some of your whimsy on life that I feel like had changed since like this tragedy.
I do think that it's just a challenge to be able to find that earnestness in whatever your situation is, whether you, I mean, I hope that you haven't gone through a tragedy or, you know, whatever, but we went to couples therapy, which we'll talk about we're not a couple, but we'll talk about that in prep. Like there's emotional roots underneath every relationship that you have. And if it's a strong one, and if it's one that you are passionate about and that you love, underneath that is something so deep and serious and rooted that I do think bring those to the surface.
Earnestly, I think also there's some like, I think part of people that's like, well, maybe they want like the villain, so we have to say that like we also fight sometimes, right? If you do bicker, like maybe talk about that. But like if that's not your angle, then be earnest about like how you make each other laugh, or be earnest about how you see the world through that person's eyes and how that helps you. You know, like it can be, earnestness doesn't have to be tragedy. It can be
of course.
A great thing about your relationship.
And I think that leads us actually right into like when we talk about exploring your relationship and things like that, how did we prep for the race? I think I mentioned it earlier. We went burping. Like I really was trying to say that sentence without burping, but I like couldn't. Talk about earnest.
Like, an intimate moment.
No, for real. Serious.
Tragedy for me.
Yeah. We went to therapy, and I think that was really, really helpful for us, because you do start to unearth those things, and you start to like understand how you emotionally relate to each other, even if those things aren't conscious yet. Like, what about our relationship do I feel insecure about, or that irks me, you know, or like you explore those things and talk about them. And ultimately we realized something different.
Yeah.
Right.
We sort of came into couples therapy. We were doing our best to get at like, how do we support each other? The question we were asking sort of over and over again was like, well, what do you need when you're from me, when you're in a time of stress, you know? Ultimately, we sort of ended up, the major discovery was like, actually, whatever you do does not really have much to do with me. Like, how do I self-soothe myself in the moments that I am feeling stressed? And how do I accept Carson's actions, or, you know, how do you accept my actions, no matter what they are, because that's like my truth in the moment. And how do I not let that cloud or hurt my feelings?
Yes, if both people are self-soothing, there's no room to get angry.
Or at least if you accept both yourself and the other person, no matter what, if it's radical acceptance, right? Then
radical acceptance.
You can be like, well, I don't like the way they said something to me, right?
Right.
But like, it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
It's just because he's feeling
stressed,
hurt. And like, I'm sorry that he's feeling stressed.
Yes. Radical acceptance, which is the opposite of, I think, the killer, which is expectation.
Yes.
If you expect the other person to react a certain way, if you expect them to do well at something or not do well at something, or
I need you to soothe me.
I need you to soothe me. Yeah, like you're not soothing me, right? It's like you need to like remove that expectation and just be like, well, I'm me.
So,
you know?
I would literally, if you were, like, we did this, I think, before we even knew we were on the race, but we had just this feeling where we were like,
we need to start this work. We need to dig down in the dregs early. Yeah.
If you even have an inkling that you're going to get on, would totally recommend couples therapy.
Or
we only
like,
did
hell,
like 2 sessions.
Everyone do it.
Yeah, everyone ever.
No matter whether you are applying for the race or not, like, it was such a beautiful thing to do with a friend as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, that was something we talked about in interviews too.
And they ate it up.
They ate up that we went to couples therapy. It was so funny. I think the mental prep is there.
Physical
Let's prep.
Physical. Jack was at the gym every day.
Girl. You spreading lies. As you can tell by my physique, I step in the gym once yearly.
To fill up your water.
Frankly, I didn't do as much physical prep as I was hoping. And I accept that.
Yeah, exactly. Radical acceptance. Radical acceptance.
Yeah.
We did do some things, though. We went to this orienteering course. Jack found this orienteering course from Kim and Penn a couple seasons ago.
Yeah. They had made a video being like, try orienteering. And I was like, what is that? And it's like,
it's basically
kind of a scavenger hunt or like map reading activity.
But it's like permanent plaques in like parks. I search up if your city has one, regardless of whether you're going on a race or not. It was such a cool activity to do.
We did like run with our backpack too, which was interesting. And we, through that, figured out sort of a strategy for the race that we wanted to do, which was one pack. We only brought one backpack because we thought strategically that if only one person is wearing the backpack, number one, it gives someone else like a little bit more of a rest. Yeah. And number two, like it encourages the person with the pack to keep up with the person who's in front of them, probably without the pack.
Maybe. I think that's something to assess in, we had determined like, okay, we think in our dynamic, in our relationship, it will encourage the person in the back to keep up and sort of press forward, like keep up with somebody who has no pack, is running crazy. Yeah. Right? But if you have the dynamic where you think it's going to cause tension, it's like they're not going fast enough and the person in the back is like, please slow down. Like, don't like follow your bliss. But like we felt like it was right for us and yeah.
Also, we brought like so little. It wouldn't have made sense to get two backpacks.
We even ran the orienteering course with the equipment. Get your equipment early. We ran in these shirts.
I feel like in a way getting over the imposter syndrome, trying to kind of early or attempting to, being like, well, we're team green. Once we figured out we were team green, not forest green, not neon green. Green. We got our backpack, we got like our clothes, and we ran as a team, and we looked like a team, and we felt like a team. We looked like we're on the Amazing Race.
I know, like we're literally matching.
In fact, we looked so much like a team. Do you remember when we were doing the orienteering course and this lady came up and she was like, so what are you guys training for? Yeah. And we were like we're wearing the same colors, like completely prepping for the Amazing Race, right? And we were like, oh, a friend is doing a birthday party upstate, and we're in like little running teams, so you know we're trying to train. And she was like, oh, what place upstate? Yeah. And we were like, I don't know. Yeah. I was like, I'm going in blind.
We were also questioned by somebody. She was like, why are you carrying that backpack?
We packed like nothing. Like in short, we packed nothing. We each had a short sleeve shirt, we each had a long sleeve shirt, we each had a pair of shorts, a pair of pants, and a very, very light jacket each. Like just a rain fly, pretty much.
Yeah. One pair of shoes.
Couple
pairs of socks each.
Couple pairs of socks, couple pairs of underwear. We didn't even bring like toothpaste, bitch. That was a mistake. I'll be the first to say
it was a mistake. Other racers had said you can get the toothpaste in the hotels.
Yeah, we watched like a Derek and Claire video that was like, we didn't bring toothpaste, and it was great because you can get toothpaste in every hotel.
Turns out
that might not
exactly be the case.
Yeah, we were like freaks about it. No comfort items. You had a whole thing about like desperately wanting hairspray, and like we didn't bring hairspray for you.
Coconut Head, you guys. You're gonna see me on TV, and you're gonna be like, he looks like Coconut Head. Like, it's like really bad.
We also did other like mental things, like we learned a bunch of words in a bunch of languages. That was Carson's idea.
We're back at the board.
Scaparelli moo. We learned like left, right, where is.
Helpful and not helpful, maybe?
I think mostly doing things like that or other things that we did, like we learned or tried to learn every flag, right?
Yeah, true.
Just stuff like that. Like we did like a puzzle day and stuff like that. Like just flexing your brain and getting in the habit of like memorizing something, using your brain, speaking. We learned a dance. Remember, we learned
we did
a K-pop dance or something.
And JoJo C was Karma.
Dance. We were like doing things like that to prep too.
We'll do some more stuff on digging into those things if you guys want us to. Like, what we have videos of our bags, we have videos of the prep and stuff like that. But
girl.
I'm going Wendy Williams on them.
Boop. Boop.
That leads us right into the punch, I think. Right? Now, obviously, we can't say much about the race itself, about how it went, what happened, where we went. You're going to have to tune into CBS on March 5th. Only on CBS and Paramount Plus to figure out what happens there. But I would love to just maybe sort of talk about the broad experience. Jack, if you were in one word to say how the Amazing Race went for you or what it felt like, give it to me.
I have 2 words and then many words.
Okay.
Worth it.
Okay.
I think it was like months and months, 6 months, 8 months maybe of casting and preparing and
The blood work. Oh
and
my God.
like all this stuff and physicals and mental health
actual
checks.
tests. Like,
yes, it was worth it.
Worth it. I had asked this question, but I didn't even think about it. But let me see just what comes spiritually out of me when I think about it. Let me talk about what's coming to the mind, regardless of whether it's my choice.
Not us being like one word and then saying so many words.
I know. Well, the first word that came into my mind was "pow."
Okay.
It does feel
Felt
like a shot
pow.
out of a cannon, right? It's like exciting. It's every emotion all at once. It's pow,
It's
right?
kind of like otherworldly as well. It's like a comic book, like pow.
Yeah, but I also think when I started to think about like what does my body react to when I think about the race, to me it was we had grounded ourselves so much in how grateful we were to have this experience that I think my word is he. I just think we giggled.
Yeah.
And I think that it was so joyous, I think, for us. And
we never missed an opportunity to try to laugh. Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
Well,
Please watch us on The Amazing Race. If you are in New York, we are going to have a premiere party on March 5th at 9:30 p.m. We will be there. Maybe some other teams will be there. Some other reality people. Maybe definitely some racers. Maybe some Survivor people. Maybe some people from Big Brother. Who knows?
we're saying maybe because we don't really know.
We don't really know. Thank you guys so much for literally, I feel like this year we're living our dreams. Like it's to do this podcast with you, to have done the race with you, and to now see the world, seeing us do that. And
It's going to be surreal.
it's going to be so surreal.
Might I just say, like, this cast is bonkers and hilarious.
My God.
And everyone is an icon. Like,
Completely.
every person is an icon.
They're wackos, including
And
us.
Go check out the cast reveal now.
Yeah, go
mind
check
you.
it
Yeah.
out. Love you so much.
Love you.
Love you guys so
yas.
much. Keep eyes peeled on this channel on Please Don't Kill Us, our Dungeons and Dragons show. We are going to have some stuff coming out. We'll be talking about the race, and we are just so grateful for you. We're so grateful we can play games and talk about nerd stuff and also have this adventure. Woo! Team Green!
Team Green.
Vote green!
Go green. Go green.